Welcome everyone to my first tutorial for Unreal Engine for WoW Machinima. So in this first recording we'll be going through the process of exporting your character and importing it to Unreal Engine. So as you can notice, his feet are a bit weird, so we can quickly fix that up. And model control, and that's fixed. Now, to export your character, you'll need to go to File, Export Model, and FBX. We'll save him in this folder I saved. For this first export, we won't choose any animation, just to be easier to make the necessary changes in the model. For this next part, you load the FBX model you exported into a 3D program, for example C4D. And we're gonna fix up the model for using Unreal Engine. So if you export this model directly into Unreal Engine, his tabard will have a few bugs, so we're gonna fix them now. So you're gonna click the characters mesh, the thing with the blue triangle, and you go to the polygon mode, and you're gonna select all the polygons in the tablet by using a shift right click. You're gonna choose them all and you're gonna delete them. So you can see there are other polygons underneath, so you're gonna see what polygons are good and which aren't. So as you can see, the polygons that are in blue, it means the normal maps are inverted for whatever reason, so you're gonna select those. You're gonna select them all real quick. I think those were it, and you're gonna hit Shift C and you're gonna enter reverse, and you're gonna click reverse normals. Oh, I missed it. I missed these. So you're gonna do that again. And as you can see, the tabard is fixed. So now we'll do the same for the tabard in the back. Just be careful to not select the polygons from the other parts of the model, otherwise it might mess it up. In some models you'll find that there's only one layer for whatever reason, so you'll need to be careful what you're deleting. So as you can see, we've deleted the extra layer. We're gonna check which parts we need to invert the normals. So just have to unselect these and invert the normals. So let's make sure everything is okay. This one still needs to be fixed. And I think we've got a fixed model. So now that we've got a fixed model, we'll export it again as FBX, and we'll save it, for example, as Strawson ready. So now that you've got your model ready, you're gonna start up your Unreal Engine, create a new project, choose blank. I'll just use a project I'll have ready just for an example. So now that we've got Unreal Engine open, I truly advise you to check these 2 tutorial series that I'll link down in the description. They're official from the creators of Unreal Engine, and they're really helpful to understand the program itself and the tool we'll use to make cinematics, which is the sequencer tool. So if you've done that already, we're gonna start by importing our character. But before that, we need to take care of something very important in this program, which is materials. I'll make a more in-depth tutorial later, so now we'll just make a very basic material. So another very important thing in Unreal Engine is that organization is very important. So you need to have your folder sorted out. For example, a folder for basic materials, characters, the cinematics you'll make, effects, environments, and so on. So for example, you have here a dwarf female, dwarf male, some lore characters, animals, etc. So now we're just gonna create a test folder for the tutorial, and you're gonna want to create a material. So as I said, I'll make a tutorial about it later. Now we'll just make a very basic tutorial. So we'll just pick the fixed Strauss in here. We're gonna import him, no need to choose a skeleton. Remove import animations and select uniform scale to 5, because that will avoid some weird bugs that will happen if the character is too small. So here you'll want to choose just import textures, because if you try to import materials with characters themselves, the program will crash. I don't know why. So we're gonna import that. So now that we've got the model and the textures here, so we're gonna call this material, we're gonna call it base material tutorial. So you're gonna go into the material editor, and you'll have this menu here. So what you're gonna do now is that you're gonna drag a texture, doesn't really matter what, and you're gonna connect this point to this point, and then you're gonna search here for vector, sorry, I meant constant, and you're gonna drag 2 constants here. You're gonna put one in specular and the other in roughness, and you're gonna leave the specular one at 0 and the roughness one you're gonna put it at 1. And before I forget, you have to go to this texture sample, right click and convert it to parameter. That way you can edit it. So I'm gonna save it. We're gonna make it a staple material, if I can say that. So we're gonna create a material instance, and you're gonna call it instance, for example. So just copy paste your body material and just go here and just change it to the hair. So now we've got ourselves a body material and a hair material. So you'll just go to the model and fill out the spots with the correct materials. So just make sure you're doing everything all right. We're just gonna wait a bit till the shaders compile and the materials work. Otherwise, it's kind of pointless to do this. Now that the materials have compiled, we can start assembling the model. So we'll place hair here. Okay, this is also hair, and the rest should be just a regular body material, except this. It's kind of painful, but you'll have to do this for every model. So I guess at first it will take some time, but after you got everything ready, I can assure you the animation process will be a breeze. So now our character is fully ready for being used, but now you notice that there's no weapons, there's no shoulder pads. So I'll explain now how to import your shoulder pads and import your weapons to put them in the scene. So I prefer, this is my method, but you can export separately the shoulders and the weapons, but I just prefer putting it on face pose. I prefer putting it on face pose, and then I go to File, Export. I export it as OBJ. I go to the same tutorial folder and save it as Strassen object. So we're gonna go to C4D. We're gonna drag Strassen OBJ. So for some reason OBJ files are really small, so I like to scale them up by 50 to fit the FBX model, and I rotate it 90 degrees because for some reason the models are rotated differently, so I'll just go ahead and do that. So now that we've got the model properly resized, just have to open this, get rid of everything that's not the shoulders or the weapons. You remove them out of this null object, and you just select what you want. For example, there's the shield, we'll delete what's the rest. We'll go here, export, FBX, and we export the shield. So we hit Ctrl Z, we delete the shield, we'll just compile this, delete the shoulders, so export again as FBX, sword, you go back again, delete one shoulder, export it as FBX, and the same for the other shoulder. So now that we've exported all of his armor, we'll just select his equipment and drag it into Unreal Engine. So again, you should have uniform scale at 5. You want to create a skeletal mesh, make sure to not have any selected, you have none here. And you can go down here and click import materials. You can only do this for stuff other than characters, because if you use this for your characters it will crash the program for some reason. So just make sure to have the material you created, that I think I called base material tutorial. So just select that and just go to texture property, base, and that should do it. So we'll click import all, and now we've got all of his equipment already with the right materials, because it used our base material. So now we just select the model and the equipment and drag it onto the scene. So as you can see, the model doesn't seem to have any bugs or anything. So now I'm going to teach you how to export animations and then import them into Unreal Engine in an effective way. So before exporting animations, you can see your Strassen skeleton. To make it easier, just call it human skeleton, for example. And you'll be able to use this for all the humans you import, be it Strassen or anyone else. You'll be able to use this skeleton and all the animations associated with it. So before, we're just gonna create a new folder called animations so we can have a bit more organization. And we're gonna go back to model viewer, and we'll just export some 2 or 3 animations. So we'll just export emote cheer, for example. And let's export it as FBX, call it shear. Go down here, 45, 43, okay. And we're gonna also export emote cry. So same, export as FBX, call it whatever you want, and then select all and choose the animation you want. So you go back to your folder, you pick the animations you exported, and you'll go to Unreal Engine and import them. So here, it's very important that you go here and choose the human skeleton. You just renamed, so you're gonna unclick import mesh, so it will just import the animation information. You're gonna keep uniform scale at 5, otherwise it will rescale your character, which is gonna be a bit weird. So we're gonna import now. We're gonna wait a bit till it loads. So now we've got both animations in our folder. Can go here and preview them just to make sure everything is okay, so I don't spot any bugs. Let's do the same for the other animation. Everything seems to be okay. So now you've got your character, but the weapons and the shoulder pads are not really attached to the character. So now we're gonna set that up. So we just go back to our tutorial folder and click our human skeleton. So we open this and we just click around to find this shoulder bone. So you found this shoulder bone, right click it and click add socket. So we'll just call this left shoulder. I mean, you should call it right shoulder because we're... So you do the same for the other shoulder, add socket and call it left shoulder. And now we need to find the bone responsible for holding the weapon, so it's this one. It goes here. It's a bit weird, but that's how it works. So you're just gonna create again a socket and you're gonna call it weapon right. Now we're gonna go to the other arm and find the shield bone. Should be around here. But I think we can use... probably use this one maybe, or this one. I'm not really sure. It's also a question of trial and error, so we'll just leave it at this one and we're gonna call it shield. Shield right, shield left, I'm sorry. And now we can equip the items in our character, so we'll just go here where there's the stuff we have placed on the scene. So we'll just pick shield, drag it to Strauss ready and link it to shield left. I'm gonna pick the shoulder. You can see it's on the character's right side, so we're gonna go here and right shoulder, left shoulder, and then you're gonna do the sword and do weapon right. Now that the character is ready, let's see if everything is in working order. So we're just gonna quickly create a scene here. You go into animation, level sequence, let's call it just Strauss test. Okay, I'm messing this up way too much. Strauss test. you're gonna open the scene, just go here, click him, go to actor to sequence, Strawson ready, and you got this. So let's see if the animations work properly. So you have a timeline here. I'll explain more about it in the videos to come, but let's just check if the animations are working fine. So you can see the weapon is in the hand. We've clearly messed up the shield, so I think it's easily fixable because we didn't really place it in the arm. So we'll just fix that real quick. Let's just shut off the sequencer and place the shield properly. Please just go here, move it next to the arm, make sure it's well placed, and then bam, should be done. So let's open the test again, see if everything is working. So it seems to be working, the shield is in place and the animations seem to be working. So yeah, let's see if the other animation is working too. Yes, all the animations seem to be working. So now if you want to export another human, it will now be easier because you can just pick a random human. Let's just choose a character here real quick. I'll just open this human male. Let's wait till it loads. Just let's not bother to put him some clothes. Let's just choose some random face, hair, and just export it. So let's call him random human. And we don't need to select any animations because the process is the same. So you can use the same folder. Of course, you should be more organized about it, but drag your new human. Disable import materials, as I told you. It doesn't work for characters, just like objects or just the armor and equipment in general. So now here normally it would appear like this, so you just go here and type human skeleton and bam, this is gonna attach this new human to the skeleton of the previous human you loaded into Unreal Engine. So basically you'll be able to use the same animations you had loaded for the other character, and also keep the sockets you had for it. So just go here, you want to remove import animations because it's just a character without animations. So keep the uniform skeleton 5 as I told you, and import mesh too. So we're just gonna import. And we have our new human here. You need to be careful with folders because sometimes names are the same, so it can just happen like this and you'll have Strawson with this guy's textures and you don't want that. So make sure to create a new folder when you're making another character, otherwise it might mess up your models and you don't want that. So let's just create a new folder for him, or simply just call this, give this another name like body Strawson. It's really your call how you organize this, but it's really important to have it organized just to be easier to move around. It's really important. So we're just gonna go back to the folder we created, and we're gonna just pick the guy's body. So and we just have to double this material again and just, oh, it's the wrong, no, it's the right material. So just drag this here, and do the same for his hair. Bam, and just go assemble the materials to the model as I told you. So easy, just go here and drag this. Make sure you don't have any of them wrong, especially the eyebrows, which is not easy to see from afar. And just add it. So, as you can see, as we attach this new human to the previous human skeleton, so we can just drag him here. Go back to the sequencer, do the same thing for him, actor to sequence, random human, and you can see that the animations are still here, so you can make him cry if you want. This really saves a lot of time in importing animations over and over again, so you can keep your previous animations and import new models, so that's very important. So this is all I had for this first tutorial about importing your character. In the next few tutorials we'll go over how to import a set or import the pieces of your set that you're going to build yourself in Unreal Engine. Then we're going to have a tutorial about materials, how to make complex materials that can make your characters look better. And then we're going to go over the sequencer tool and how to use it in a WoW setting, for example. There are multiple things you can do, like combining animations, transitioning them, but we'll talk more about that when the time comes. So thank you for watching. Tons of people have asked me to make this tutorial. I hate making tutorials, but here I am. So if I did anything wrong, you can all blame Cambrio because he taught me. No, please don't do that, because I love the guy. Don't do that. And yeah, if you have any specific questions about this process I taught today, don't hesitate in commenting down below or sending a message to my social media, and I'll try to reply to your questions. Well, anyways, thanks for watching, and until the next tutorial, I guess.